there aren't. There's more people that choose security, I guess, and including myself. Going out of coming out of school, getting a job,
Yeah.
working for somebody else. You get your social
Yeah.
security. You get not your social security, but you get your Medicare. You get your all the health insurance from your company, and there's a sense of
I thought
security.
about that recently, Manny. Don't lose your train of thought. I told my mother last week, I said, oh, shoot, I'm not going to get any of that.
Yeah.
No, so it's funny you say that. I just had that conversation. Thank you for bringing it up again. And, go ahead. Go ahead.
So that's my question to you is that how did you break the mold essentially? Because obviously there's a vested interest in our society pushing a certain thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it works to advantage certain people.
Mm-hmm.
When we have the workers that work for the companies, etc.
Yeah.
So how do you break that mold? I mean, were you always like, I'm never going to work for somebody else? Does that come from somewhere? How did that happen?
Yeah,
And were you ever scared? Was there ever fear that, man, how am I going to make ends meet?
It's funny you said, man, it's amazing. I tell you, that's why God is real. Can we just say it? Amen. On the way back here, I just, I drove my wife. I dropped her off at Animal Kingdom. Can't do that in New England. Sorry, guys. So it's a Florida.
I'm just going to drop you off at Disney.
Yeah, I'm just going to drop you off at Disney. Yeah, it's like there. I'm like, I'm just going to drop you off at the Loop. But no. But no, seriously, it's I tried, Manny. I mean, I had strings, bringing back memories. I mean, I was hired right out of high school to work as a drug and violence prevention counselor coordinator for International Institute, which is right on Merrimack Street under the bridge in Lawrence. And I had a hard time. At the same time I was doing that, I was also had started my own program that was working with at-risk youth, and I put more into that I was making zero at than the job that was paying me well. I was brought into the office and talked to quite a few times and eventually let go. A year later, I was hired right on Jackson Street to work as the project coordinator for junior firefighters. I had a ball. I did that for a year while doing throwing my own dances at Central Catholic and whatever this and that, and jams. There were big hip hop jams back then. I had hired artists to actually draw on flyers. I'd go around to the Bruce School, to Leonard, and drop them off. And I was always a entrepreneur. And I had good jobs. I mean, the junior firefighters, I think at that time I was 20 years old and I was getting paid $500 a week. I mean, that's great money. It was all my own. I used to go to the Polo outlet and buy myself nice clothes. I my own now. But I had a hard time, bro. I did. When I left Lawrence in 96 to go to LA to a crash course film school, I was the biggest I had ever been. I was at the Arlington School at the time, leading one of the biggest, largest programs Lawrence had ever seen. I was at my biggest. I had a going away party at my mom's house in Methuen, and kid you not, there was almost 200 people there. There were performances from all these Lawrence performers like Scientific, Crumb Snatcher, all the Ed O.G. and the Bull, like all these people that were big in the 90s. I'm aging myself, but it was huge. And I thought to myself for a minute, I can't believe I'm giving this up and I'm leaving this. And I did. I had to follow my dream. And there's been times when I drove back here for our interview, I was laughing because I don't know what made me think of it. It was probably you. It was probably prophetic. 2 years ago, I wanted to become a general manager for the Cheesecake Factory. You know,
really? Wait,
I actually,
did you say 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I just said, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. Living month to month thinking, man, are we going to make rent this month? What are we going to do? How am I going to do it? And there's so many emotions tied to your projects. When you work 2, 3, 4 days on an edit and then you drop it and it doesn't do what you want it to do and you tie the whole week's work into it and you're like, really? Initially, when I did all those Patriot videos and so many, a lot of them went viral. You don't even get a call back from the Patriots or and you're like, okay, what am I doing this for? I can't even be invited into a game and I'm promoting you. And it's just, I wanted to be a GM at the Cheesecake Factory. And I was almost going to get hired. And my wife she said, no. I'm really blessed. try not to get emotional. I'm really blessed with a spouse that sees the talent in me and has always encouraged that. Hasn't been about, I'm not going to say we haven't had moments where it's like, man, we need to be making more, or we need to be doing more, or whatever the case may be. But she's the kind of spouse where it's like, I don't want you to get a job. I'll almost be insulted if after all these years, at 48 years old, you give up and go get a job. You've done this much. You've come this far. Don't give up now. And that's how I feel.